Welcome everyone to the Executive Compass. This is where you get insights from B2B executive firm founders. We'll dive into their story, how they got started, their challenges and opportunities, and how they're shaping their business for the future. For those of you joining this podcast, I'm Amisha Srimankar, founder of Vectra Growth Partners, and we specialize in helping executive firms scale their revenue in 12 months. Today's guest is Lynn Kleinbach, founder of the Kleinbach Group. Hey, Lynn, how are you?
Hi, good morning, Amisha. I'm doing great. Thanks for bringing me on.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining. Where are you calling in from?
Beautiful Granite Bay, California. We're right outside of Sacramento in Northern California.
I am jealous right now. A lot of the people who are listening to this know I am in Philly, and it's, let's not go to the temperatures. It snowed here all day yesterday, so it's very cold where I am.
I understand. My daughter just graduated from Drexel University and is living in Fishtown, so I get the daily updates.
Yes, not fun, but we have nice spring weather, and we'll visit we'll see you when you come visit here, hopefully soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for our audience today on the call, Lynn, do you mind doing a brief introduction?
Absolutely. So I'm Lynn Kleinbach. I have been in executive recruiting for 35 years. I don't want to age myself. Been an entrepreneur for 20 of those years in healthcare recruiting, and we've really specialized in the niche of clinical diagnostics and life science, sales, marketing, and management nationwide. And that's what we do on a daily basis.
Fantastic. 20 years. How have those 20 years been, if you could say it in one word, like in a nutshell?
Exciting. I'm blessed by God to jump out of bed and want to be a recruiter every morning, even after all this time. Both my parents were entrepreneurs. My father owned a printing company south of Market Street in San Francisco. My mother owned an employment agency in downtown San Francisco for 35 years. So this is in my blood, and I started right after college and never looked back.
Fantastic. I'd love to know, what does a typical day look like for you?
Great. So recruiters have pretty crazy days. We always start out with a plan and we stick as close to it as we can, but of course there's a lot of diversions. Usually it's a quick scan of the email, tossing out things that don't need any actions, going to things that are going to, number one, make us money the fastest. We say that, closest to close. The next thing I do is really marketing. As a business owner, running a desk, closing deals, everything from start to finish. Business development is always a really big part of my day. Networking, etc. Then it's looking at openings that are currently needing really good candidates and making great presentations. And the closing of the day is always planning. And in my planning, I'm doing research, looking into new areas of healthcare that are growing, that are ready to commercialize, just continually being really immersed in the day. And this, of course, makes for a lot of phone calls. So by the time I get home, I zip my lips. Don't talk to me, children.
I know how that goes. The life of an entrepreneur, totally. Tell me about your team. I'm sure, with so much going on, you probably have a stellar team. You offload, and I hope you delegate.
Yes. So my team has evolved over the years, of course, over 20 years. The key to any business in general, I guess, is scaling. I just finished reading the Science of Scaling book, which is just so great, with one of my mastermind groups called GoBundance. And there's a lot of things to learn about what your floor is, how to get to, stop doing the things you don't need to do every day, how to delegate, etc. So I do a lot of, again, the business development work, have a team that does sourcing for me. We work really closely together. Just in the last week, so the beginning of this year, I have started a new business unit in the veterinary market, which is really an underserved market in regards to solid recruiting practices. Veterinarians are a whole different ball of wax. So learning, that's my primary thing every day, is learning. So I'm challenging myself with opening this new unit. And it's an exciting time at the company. So we will continue to grow. I hope to be by five recruiters at least by the end of the year.
Wow, that's fascinating. And I love that you found an underserved market, and you are looking to serve them well and see where that goes. That's fantastic. How did you find out about this particular segment? Did it just come to you organically, or was it a chance encounter? I'd love to know.
So this is an interesting story. Since I've been recruiting for so long, I, of course, have mentored quite a few recruiters. And in the beginning years, the way we recruited was finding young, called salespeople, so to speak, teaching them recruiting. Some of them really thrived. Some of them figured out it just wasn't for them. It's not an easy business. One of my top and best, who left me, of course, as they often do once you teach them all your tricks, on a very good note, of course. Recently engaged with me and said, I've really always wanted to own my own recruiting firm. She's been doing it now about 20 years. And she said, there's no one I'd rather partner with than you. What do you think about it? So we've spent the last probably 3 to 4 months talking about her working in a couple of different industries, dental and veterinarian most recently, and really understanding what is needed in that market and what value we can bring from all the experience that I have in healthcare recruiting. And it just became a really great match. I have mentored a lot of people, and when they come back to me, and I see their skill set and how it's grown, and now what I'm learning from them, it's extraordinary. So the partnership is fabulous, and I'm excited about it.
Fascinating. I'd love to know, and you touched upon this because she's brought in expertise from a different discipline, and you bring in so much of healthcare industry experience. What are your strengths that you bring to this new partnership? Or what is it? And the other way of asking is, what are the strengths that healthcare recruiters have that they can kind of apply to other verticals, if you will?
Sure. And I think that, recruiting is recruiting, right? Whether I'm recruiting janitors or salespeople or CEOs, there's a talent, there's an art to it that I hope that after all of this time I have really come in tune with. So, we're in the people business, and we really work mostly on developing relationships, really understanding people and treating them like humans, understanding where they are in their careers, where they need to go. I do a lot of what I call career counseling. And in the market recently, with all of the layoffs and mergers and acquisitions, there's a lot of people who are highly skilled, who are finding themselves in positions they've never been in before. And they come to me with lost hope. They're fearful. They have been probably overpaid at this point because they've been at companies for so long. The opportunities are not as plentiful as they used to be, and they need new ways and new ideas to enter the marketplace.
Okay, and that's where your expertise comes in, and you guide them and coach them and prepare them for their next role.
Yes, and all the way from the beginning of the process to the end. Every candidate out there needs a coach, right? So I'm a personal coach, I'm a business coach, and because I'm the middleman in between the client and the candidate, who are really both my clients at the same time, I get to work in areas that some people don't want to talk about and don't feel they can talk about with a client. They get to talk about all that with me. So I have been able to establish trust early on with people so that they're willing to tell me these things, and that they know that I will handle that information with care and only to advance them and help them find a great career, which everybody is trying to do. Our careers are our lives. This is how we raise our children. This is how we spend the majority of our time. This is what affects us when we go to the grocery store. So these are things that are just bigger than all of us. So my one little part of connecting with people's souls and connecting them back with hope and reminding them that they are talented, they do have the ability to go do these things. And I'll do a quick notion here, Amisha, if it's okay. I wrote a book for the first time. I've probably written it 5 times, but it finally is being published. It'll come out at the end of the quarter, and it's called The Soul of Recruiting, SOUL. And really
Beautiful.
It's all about getting back into treating people with the kindness and the professionalism that we used to, getting away from so much automation, so much transactional business that's going on, and really getting to the heart of the matter, because these are human beings and everyone needs to be treated as such.
I love it. I love it. I am so excited for your book. And you said it's coming out at the end of the quarter?
Yes.
Amazing. And can we find it on Amazon or?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great. I will be following up.
And I'll do a little LinkedIn, etc., since I've got so many friends there too.
Perfect. Excellent. So tell me about your niche, Lynn, healthcare. How did you stumble upon this one? Is this something that you always wanted to do? Was there a gap in the market? How did you come to find that healthcare is the place where you want to be?
Sure. So as many young college graduates started in something and then realized, I'm going to make a pivot. I started in recruiting because of my mother's agency background in placing technical programmers for the city of San Francisco with IBM System 400 contractors. I loved that business, relocated for love to Sacramento, and found a mentor, Tom Dewar, who owned System One Search. He was and still is the top recruiter in the medical industry. I sat in his office and next to him for probably 5 years and really learned the business. Was a top recruiter with him, started a team, became an owner, one of women of 5 male owners. We had a wonderful team going. I had my second child. I have Derek is 20. Thus, I know how many years I've been in business. And Karen is 24. And it was time for me to take all of that value and not go out and compete, but just take the things that I had learned that I really loved and did well and do things for myself. So I did just that in
Amazing.
2006.
Yeah, amazing. And do you have like sub niches within healthcare? What is the coverage? Like what all do you cover?
So the main area is diagnostics and life sciences. So underneath those, we focus in sales, marketing, and management. So these can be in sales, first line sales reps, people we call corporate account, national account, enterprise folks, all the way up into VP of sales, and then CEOs who are running companies. On the life science side, same thing. So these come from scientists to technical representatives, and then on up into sales and marketing. So the differentiation for people who want to understand is that diagnostics is clinical. That means the FDA's approved it, it's being used on humans, and it's approved products. The life science side is more of the pre-FDA side. So these are things that are being done in research facilities, so your big UCLAs and Stanfords around the world, and these little biotech companies that are coming out of great places like Boston and North Carolina and San Francisco and San Diego. Companies I've been following for years. They're really fun to build for.
Amazing. I love it. What's working well for you right now in recruiting, and what's been frustrating?
Yeah. Well, what's working well is that I'm as excited as I can ever be about recruiting, which makes me very happy because it hasn't been that easy the last few years. COVID is still rearing its head. It has had a lot of aftermath. In the glory days, I was working with Abbott when President Trump held up the first ID Now test kit, upside down, by the way, and working and built that entire team. And now, years later, when things have started to stave off, there's all of these smaller companies even underneath that have gone away. So there's a lot of people that have flooded the market. So we're looking in new areas of oncology, molecular diagnostics, CRISPR, spatial biology, just really fascinating areas, a lot of cancer genetics.
I know there's a tough job market. We've all heard it across so many sectors. Health and tech are the most impacted. But what are the other challenges that you're seeing in the current job climate?
Sure. So I liken my challenges at my own little recruiting desk to the challenges that my partners that are internal recruiters and talent acquisition partners and even hiring managers and my clients have, right? We're both dealing with the same thing. So we're posting jobs, we're posting and praying. That's not working anymore. Because we're cutting down on the financial resources for outside agencies, we're asking recruiters who are not really formally trained as recruiters to take on 30 jobs instead of putting 10 of them out and working on 20 of them on their own. So they're being overloaded. Company posts a job, which is still very common practice, and I understand why. You get a bluebird every now and then, but what mostly happens is that you'll send your resume in, and one day later it'll say you're one of 100 candidates, and most people don't get phone calls. So the frustrating part right now are algorithms that are just not really set yet. I believe in AI. I love AI. I know it has a place. We know that AI and humanness needs to continue to work together, but the frustrating part is seeing people who are so very darn qualified, knowing that their resumes may never get looked at. So these are problems that we're trying to solve, and I can prove it to you because if you open my email box every morning, there's 20 companies who want to sell me something on how to do that.
Yes.
It's a problem that everybody's trying to solve, and that's probably one of the biggest things. The second thing too is just these phone calls I have on a daily basis. They're really starting to hit my heart hard. These are people who have been extremely valuable in the business place, and they're getting phone calls and they're getting even sometimes emails. Your job has been eliminated, and this is not the way we want to do business. This is not what's going to help us grow. Companies are having trouble keeping talented people. Companies are asking one person to do 5 after they just did a layoff. And the burnout is real. The burnout is real in clients, and the real burnout is real in recruiters, in candidates. I mean, it's everywhere. What we at TKG try to do is just really dig deeper down again into the soul of what's going on, so you can kind of rebirth yourself to understanding what that value is and knowing how to communicate that effectively in a process that wants you to do it with just a bunch of speed and algorithms and keywords. Let's not be reduced to that anymore. So we're taking more of a consulting approach. We're really spending time with our customers up front, understanding what their needs are. These are the differences that are going to change this industry back to what it was before.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. And I also hear you when you said that, AI and humans have to work together, and there has to obviously be a balance, right? You cannot replace, especially in a human-centric industry like recruitment, executive recruitment. Relationships are everything. Face value, human-to-human contact is everything. And I've heard this from so many recruiters that their clients or candidates getting screened by AI, interviewed by AI. It's just kind of like, throwing so many things in a mess and chaos. So coming back to what you just said, that there has to be and I'll say this, probably a marriage between the two. Where are you using AI at your company?
So AI has pretty much been weaved into every product that we use. You go on LinkedIn, you go on Bullhorn, which is what we use, and there's always a use AI button, right? So we're using it for what I would call almost our mundane tasks, writing job descriptions, writing emails, responding to things. Certainly you can do automated messages. I mean, if I get any more automated messages, So, cut it with the automated messages, please. And let's pick up the phone, right?
Yes.
So these are the things that are going to make the difference, that I always say is just kind of getting back to the humanness of this all. I love stronger, better, faster in all kinds of areas, but when it comes to people's livelihoods, that's not always the answer.
Yeah, I hear you. Lynn, what are your keys to your success for running an organization for 20 years as you have? What's been the deciding factor that you stayed in business through so many things, COVID and job changes and all the things, tough markets and economy and all the things? Like, what would you boil it down to?
Yes. So COVID, and I think 3 recessions. Okay, we'll start with that.
Yes.
Still alive, still kicking.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is really an intrinsic part of me that is about valuing human beings, being truthful even when it's going to hurt, really showing care and interest in people. Recruiting can very much be a numbers game. We call them spaghetti recruiters because most people throw it against the wall to see if it sticks. And I've never played that game. I have heard over and over again, I will humbly say, Lynn, I thought you worked for the company. Or, you're the only recruiter that's ever just even acknowledged me or called me back, even if it was for 1 minute. So I think that my personal touch, my level of professionalism, and really my true level of care is the value that I bring to this industry. And I want to teach that to as many people as I can. And that's my mission.
Amazing. That, along with the debut of your book, I cannot wait. On that note, what are you excited for the company this year? Like, what are your big goals?
Right. So my big goals, woohoo, the veterinary group, and it is called FUR, F-U-R, Forever Talent Partners.
That's cute. It is fun. Play on words. I love it.
Yes. So launching that business is going to be a big endeavor. And the book. And then, of course, all of these things lead to the growth of TKG, which is my core business that I want to be in for a long time. And I think that's probably enough projects, Amisha.
I think that's a lot. You have your hands full. Yeah. I love it. What's one thing you could leave our audience, key message or one piece of advice to someone who is growing their business and wants to be successful as you have?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would probably say slow down. We're fast, we're busy. Recruiters are the masters of chaos and multitasking. And if you want to be happier, if you slow down, and you don't have to work 60 hours a week to do that. So find out how you're using your time, where you're using your time, and making sure that you're giving yourself the breaks that you need. Because when you start really honoring yourself, the old term, if mama isn't happy, when you're really honoring yourself, you can honor your profession as well.
Yeah, I love that. That really sinks in deep. Thank you for that. Where can people find you and connect with you?
They can find me on my website, which is the Kleinbach Group, and it's Klein. For all of you young people out there who don't remember Calvin Klein, it's Klein. And then Bach, like the composer, Bach, small river in German, the Kleinbach Group. And I'm on LinkedIn. I actually did just start an Instagram page as well
Okay.
as TikTok. I've done a few videos. So, Amisha, please don't go.
That's exactly where I was headed after we
I was
ended
going to
this
say, we're going
recording.
to hang up the phone. I know what you're doing. But anyway, I'm trying, people, okay?
We'll support you. We'll send all the love your way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And and at the end of March, beginning of April, to maybe grab your hands, on the book, The Soul of Recruiting. It's really more of kind of a philosophical way to remind yourself of how you want to do your work. It's not a how-to. It's not a here's the best 10 interview questions to ask. There's enough of those, and they're fabulous. I love all those authors. I got them all over my bookshelf. I've read them all. I wanted to do something different. So once you read this, I hope that what it does is it helps you to do your business differently and more joyfully. That's
I
the
love it.
point.
That is the point. You are so right. Well said. On that note, we're going to end this podcast, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Amisha. See you soon.
See ya.
Bye-bye.